The year was 2479. By now, humans had become just one part of a much larger galaxy. Earth had joined the Galactic Concord, a union of advanced civilizations working together to keep peace and control the stars. Travel between systems was fast. Trade was constant. But there were still places even the Concord feared, places left off maps, marked by silence. One of those places was called the Forbidden Zone. No official maps showed what was inside it. No one who entered ever returned. Over the years, many had tried, explorers, pirates, scientists, but nothing came back. Not even debris. The Concord claimed it was a dead area of space, unstable and empty. But people whispered stories. Some said it was haunted. Others believed it had something ancient. Most just avoided it. But Captain Narration wasn't like most people. She stood at the center of the bridge aboard her ship, the ESS Horizon. She wore a black uniform with a single silver stripe across the collar, quiet authority. Her dark hair was tied back, and her expression was calm, but thoughtful. She was known throughout the Concord as a brave explorer, one who chased mysteries others ignored. And this time, the mystery came to her. "Captain," said Commander Raj Malik, her second in command. He handed her a data tablet. "We just received this signal. It's old, very old. Came from the edge of the Forbidden Zone." Lyra took the tablet. A short, pulsing sound echoed from it, steady, rhythmic. The screen showed a string of coordinates, followed by a strange symbol made of curved lines and dots. She studied it closely. "Any idea what it means?" she asked. "Not yet," Raj said. "But it's real. Came through clean. We've confirmed the signal's age, at least 200 years old." "From inside the zone?" "Yes." She said nothing at first, just looked at the blinking symbol. The Forbidden Zone had been quiet for centuries. This changed everything. "Plot a course," she said. "We're going in." Raj blinked. "Captain, with respect, Concord orders are clear. No entry." "I know." "Then this would be off mission." "It would," she said. "But that signal didn't come from nowhere. Someone, or something, wanted to be found. I intend to find it." A few hours later, they received an official message from the Concord Command. "ESS Horizon. Abort investigation. Zone 7 is a restricted sector. Entry forbidden by treaty. Return to patrol route." That was all it said. No explanation. No details. Just a firm order to stop. Lyra turned to Raj, who was already frowning. "That was fast," he said. "They're trying to bury it," she replied. "Too clean. Too rehearsed. You think the Concord knows what's in there?" "I think they don't want anyone else to know." They stood in silence. Then Lyra said, "Call the crew. We need to talk." The main briefing room was quiet. The crew sat in rows, pilots, scientists, engineers, and medics. Each one had served under Lyra for years. She trusted them. They trusted her. She stood in front of them, beside a holographic star map. It showed the Forbidden Zone in red, an empty hole in the middle of glowing stars. "We received a signal," she said. "From here." The map zoomed in, marking the source of the transmission. "It's over 2 centuries old, and it came from a location long marked dead. The Concord has ordered us to ignore it." She paused. "I won't force anyone to go, but I believe this signal matters. I believe something is inside the zone, something buried. I want to know what it is, but I won't do it alone." The room stayed quiet. People glanced at each other. Some looked uncertain, but one by one, they nodded. Not a single person left their seat. Lyra smiled. "Good. Then let's find out the truth." 2 days later, the ESS Horizon reached the edge of the Forbidden Zone. From the outside, it looked normal, just another dark patch of space. But the ship's sensors showed strange readings. Gravity was weak. Light didn't travel normally. Radio waves bent and faded. Still, the signal was stronger now, pulsing at regular intervals. They were close. Lyra stood on the bridge. "Take us in." As the ship crossed into the zone, the stars outside vanished. Everything went black. The hull creaked slightly. Lights dimmed for a second, then stabilized. The air was heavy, like the ship had passed through something thick and invisible. Then, slowly, the darkness cleared. And there it was. A massive space station, floating silently near a collapsed star. The structure was old, but intact. Black metal towers reached out like broken fingers. The surface was covered in markings and alien design, sharp, curved, unlike anything human. Raj leaned forward. "It's alive. There's power inside." "Scan it," Lyra said. "Minimal energy. But something's running. There's a data core. Still active." Lyra nodded. "We dock." The docking clamps locked in with a hiss. The airlock slid open. Lyra led a small team inside: Raj, Engineer Samira Holt, and Dr. Nyel, the ship's alien linguist. The inside of the station was cold and dark, but not dead. Lights flickered to life as they walked. The walls were lined with script, some language no one could read. In the main chamber, they found a control panel still glowing faintly. Samira connected a portable terminal. Signals repeating through here. It's coming from this room. Lyra stepped forward. What's it saying? The screen blinked. Then, slowly, a star map formed in the air. But it wasn't the same map the Concorde used. This one was older, bigger. The borders were different. Entire regions were marked with names no one recognized. Civilizations that didn't exist in the modern records. And in the center of the map was this station, once the heart of a powerful empire. Raj stared at it. None of this matches official charts. No, Lyra said quietly. It's the real map. The station hadn't sent a distress call. It had sent a record. A record of what the galaxy used to be before the Concorde, before the current order. It told the story of empires lost, names erased, and systems cut off. Lyra turned to her team. This is why they didn't want anyone to come here. The symbol from the original signal flashed again. It was a seal, a mark of a forgotten civilization. They had just uncovered proof that the galaxy's history had been rewritten. And now, they were the only ones who knew the truth. And someone out there would do anything to keep it hidden. The air inside the ancient station was dry and still, as if it had been waiting centuries just to be disturbed. Captain Lyrichin walked carefully through the wide hallway. Her boots echoed against the dark metal floor. Lights above flickered in a slow pulse, dim, reddish, but alive. Something inside the station still worked. Something wanted to be found. Behind her, Commander Raj Malik kept an eye on the scanner in his hand. Its screen flashed strange readings, irregular gravity, faint radiation, and energy signatures that made no sense. It was like the laws of physics inside the station didn't fully agree with the rest of space. Still stable, he said. But whatever tech this is, it's not Concorde level. It's older, and far more advanced. Lyra nodded. This place wasn't just for storage. It was a hub. Look at the corridors, big enough for machines, maybe even transports. Engineer Samira Holt moved beside a control panel and touched it gently. It lit up at her touch, showing a symbol, a curved circle with 3 lines branching outward. The same one they had received in the original signal. It's using a reactive surface, Samira said. Just like modern interfaces. But this one, it seems to know we're here. Dr. Nyel, the ship's linguist and historian, tall, soft-spoken, with silver-gray skin and large black eyes, was already photographing the alien writing on the walls. His voice was quiet and steady. This language is unfamiliar. It's not in any known database. Not even in dead dialects. But you can learn it? Lyra asked. Eventually, he said. Language reveals itself through patterns. And this place is full of them. The group entered a circular room ahead. The door slid open before they touched it. Inside was a domed chamber with a central pedestal. Above it, a holographic map floated in the air, spinning slowly. It looked like a galaxy, dense with stars, clusters, and colored borders. Lyra stepped closer. That's not our map, she said. The others stared silently. It wasn't. The layout was similar, but not the same. Major systems were present: Earth's solar system, Alpha Centauri, and the homeworlds of several Concorde races, but their positions on the map were different. The borders were wrong. Or rather, they were older. Samira rotated the map with a swipe of her hand. It responded instantly. There are systems here we've never seen before, she said. And some that are missing, Raj added. Niel pointed to one section. This area, it was once an empire. See the markings? These symbols repeat across dozens of stars. That means common rule, common culture. But it's not on any current star charts, Raj said. No, Lyra agreed. Because someone erased it. Back on the ESS Horizon, the rest of the crew stayed on alert. The Forbidden Zone didn't show any signs of activity from outside, but the ship's systems behaved strangely. Engine readings fluctuated. Communications echoed slightly, as if the signals were bouncing through something that shouldn't exist. Lieutenant Mara Yates, the Horizon's chief of security, kept scanning for threats. Still no movement, she reported to the bridge. But I don't like it. It's too quiet. Navigator Felix Boone frowned at his station. It's more than quiet. It's off. Time distortion is minimal but present. I think we're sitting in a kind of gravity bubble. Could be natural, Mara said. Or artificial, Felix replied. Meanwhile, inside the station, the map zoomed in on a specific sector, right where the Forbidden Zone sat in today's charts. But on this map, it wasn't empty. It was crowded, rich with planets, trade routes, and settlements. At the center of it all was a name, written in alien script but repeated in several languages across the interface. Xenar Sovereignty. Lyra repeated the name aloud. Never heard of it. Niel shook his head. Neither have I. Not in any record, archive, or galactic history database. And yet, Raj said, they controlled a region the size of half the Concord. Samira was still working at the pedestal's terminal. Suddenly, more data appeared, scrolling lines of text, images, even motion footage. It showed tall, elegant structures, fleets of long silver ships, and worlds with twin suns. Some of the footage was corrupted, but much was clear. This civilization wasn't just powerful, Samira said. They were advanced. Maybe more than us. And then, nothing. Lyra stared at the holograms. They were erased. But why? Raj asked. And by who? Before anyone could answer, the station trembled. Just a low, slow vibration, like a groan from the bones of a sleeping beast. Captain, we have a problem, Mara's voice called from Lyra's wrist communicator. We picked up a burst transmission. Not from us, not from you. From where? We don't know, Mara replied. It vanished. But someone, or something, knows we're here. Back aboard the Horizon, the crew began locking down non-essential systems and preparing for possible contact. Lieutenant Boone plotted emergency routes out of the zone, but the star patterns inside didn't match the Concorde's NAV grid. Their map was wrong here. It's like trying to navigate with your eyes closed, he muttered. Lyra's team returned to the ship shortly after, bringing copies of the station's star map and records. Once back on board, Lyra called a senior staff meeting. She stood at the center of the briefing room once more. The new star map hovered in the air, now translated into basic Concorde symbols. This, she said, pointing at the Xenar mark, is what we found. A civilization that used to dominate this sector. Gone from all known history. Raj added, not destroyed. Hidden. Niel nodded. The style of erasure is deliberate. Records removed. Language lost. Borders changed. Samira looked at the others. This is the kind of thing you hide if you're afraid of it. Or ashamed. Or if you benefit from it staying forgotten, Lyra finished. There was a long pause. Then she said, we need to report this. Quietly. Carefully. Concorde Command will not take this well. They may already know, Raj said. They probably do, she agreed. And that's what worries me. Later that night, Lyra sat alone in her quarters, staring at the floating map. Her fingers hovered above a symbol in the center. It pulsed softly. Someone had sent that signal, centuries ago. Someone had buried this truth, expecting it might one day be found. She had walked into the void and uncovered not emptiness, but a secret heavy enough to shift the future of the galaxy. And now, whatever hid behind the black silence of the Forbidden Zone might be awake. The air on the ESS horizon had grown heavy, not because of a failure in the systems, but because of what the crew now knew. Captain Lyrichin stood on the bridge, arms folded, eyes locked on the holographic star map hovering in front of her. The map taken from the ancient station glowed faintly, displaying the wide expanse once ruled by the Xenar sovereignty, a powerful civilization completely wiped from history. She turned to Commander Raj Malik, who had been cross-checking the map with Concorde records for hours. What did you find? She asked. He sighed and leaned forward over the console. Nothing. The systems, the names, the trade lanes, it's all missing from every Concorde database. It's like it never existed. Except we know it did. Lyra nodded. This wasn't just forgotten. It was erased. Raj looked up at her. That kind of deletion would take centuries of control. Every copy, every record, every mention. Wiped? Or rewritten, she added. In the Horizon Science Lab, Dr. Niel had made progress with the alien language. He stood in front of a large screen, translating sections of recovered data from the station's archives. Here, he said to Samira Holt, who stood beside him. These lines aren't just administrative logs. They're legal records, declarations of independence, trade deals, even war treaties between the Xenar and their neighbors. Samira raised an eyebrow. So the Xenar were a recognized power? They weren't just recognized, Niel said, tapping the screen. They were at the center of everything. Many species we now consider fringe civilizations were once part of their alliance, including some Concorde members. Samira's eyes narrowed. So if the Xenar were destroyed, the Concorde might have had something to do with it? Niel hesitated. I can't say for certain, but if the Concorde didn't destroy them, it definitely helped cover it up. On the bridge, a warning light flashed red. Lieutenant Mara Yates, seated at the tactical station, leaned forward. "Captain," she said, "we've got an incoming signal." Lyra turned immediately. "From where?" "Unknown. It's encrypted and bouncing across multiple relay points. But it's not alien, it's Concord tech." Raj stepped closer. "Is it command?" "No," Mara replied. "Too many layers of bounce. They're trying to stay hidden. But they know we're here." The screen blinked, and a live message appeared, only audio. "This is Director Kale Voss, Concord Intelligence Division. Captain Lirachin, this transmission is classified. Terminate your mission and destroy all data you've collected. You are in violation of Concord Treaty 11.2. Failure to comply will result in immediate action." The message ended as fast as it had begun. Raj was the first to speak. "They're watching us." Lyra's face was still. They were always watching. They just didn't think we'd find anything. The name Kale Voss wasn't new to her. He was a high-level official, known for handling Concord's secrets, surveillance, and the unofficial side of law enforcement. Rumors followed him of disappearances, quiet missions, and erased histories. Now he was watching her. "Start encrypting all data," she said firmly. "Send fragments to secure channels across multiple systems. No single copy. If they come for us, they won't get everything." Raj gave her a sharp look. "You think they'll actually try to silence us?" She didn't answer right away. Then, "I think they've done it before." Outside the ship, space was quiet. The horizon floated in the deep dark of the Forbidden Zone, still orbiting the dead star where the station had been found. But now, sensors began to pick up a change. Felix Boone, the ship's navigator, called out, "Captain, I've got engine signatures, long range, fast approach. It's not Concord military, but it's high-spec. They're masking their ID." "How long?" Lyra asked. 2 hours. Maybe less." Lyra turned to Mara. "Weapons?" "Limited," she replied. "We're not a warship. We can defend ourselves, but we won't last against a full assault." The bridge fell silent. Lyra faced her crew. "They're coming to erase this. Erase us. We have 2 hours to do what we came here to do." In the communication room, engineers worked to break apart the station data into secure packets. Each fragment was encoded and sent across narrowband relays toward trusted contacts, scientists, historians, and independent systems not fully loyal to the Concord. Lyra oversaw every step. "We won't win by fighting them head-on," she said. "We win by spreading the truth." Meanwhile, Samira and Niel continued digging through the station's last logs. Suddenly, Niel stopped. "I found something," he said. "What is it?" Samira asked. "A broadcast. A last message, sent by the Xenar before their disappearance." He pressed a button, and an old voice, calm, noble, and slow, filled the room. It spoke in the Xenar language, but a translation rolled across the screen. "If you hear this, then we are gone. Not by war, not by failure, but by fear." They feared what we stood for. Truth, unity, independence. So they buried us. But no lie lasts forever. One day, someone will come to find us again. Lyra entered the room just as the message ended. She stared at the screen. It wasn't just a call. It was a time capsule. Raj entered behind her, carrying a data pad. 1 hour until intercept. The ship was now on high alert. Every system prepared. But Lyra wasn't focused on weapons or shields. She stood once more in the briefing room, surrounded by her senior staff. "This is the choice we face," she said. "We can run, try to save ourselves. But if we do, the data might never get out. Or we can stay, finish the upload, and send the truth to the galaxy, no matter the cost." No one spoke. Then Samira said, "We finish it." Raj nodded. "All the way." Felix grinned. "Wouldn't be the first time we made someone mad." Even Mara cracked a rare smile. "Let them come." Lyra looked around the room at her crew, each one ready to risk everything. Not for war, not for power, but for the truth. As the unknown ship approached in the shadows of the Forbidden Zone, the ESS Horizon began its most important transmission. One that would shake the galaxy. One that couldn't be stopped. The ESS Horizon floated silently in the darkness of the Forbidden Zone. The ancient station was now behind them, its secrets copied and stored deep in the ship's encrypted systems. The data was ready for transmission, but time was running out. On the main screen, a sleek, black ship moved closer. Its design was unlike any Concord military vessel. It was longer, sharper, made for stealth. No insignia, no signal, just the cold certainty of a weapon sent to silence. Captain Lirachin stood on the bridge. Her crew was calm, focused. They knew what was coming. Distance? She asked. 25 minutes, said Raj Malik, her first officer. Still no reply to her hails. Still no ID. They won't respond, Lyra said quietly. They're not here to talk. Deep in the ship's comms bay, engineers worked to finish the last data packets. The information recovered from the alien station, the lost history of the Xenar sovereignty, the proof of an erased galactic empire, was now spread across thousands of encrypted files. Each one was being prepared for transmission to safe locations across the galaxy. Keep bouncing signals, Lyra told her comms officer over the intercom. Never send from one point. Keep them guessing. In the Horizon's war room, Lyra met with her senior crew. The holographic map showed the approaching ship and the possible escape routes through the Forbidden Zone. None were simple. The stars here didn't match Concord maps. The ship's navigation systems were unreliable. It was like moving through a maze with half the walls missing. We can't outgun them, said Mara Yates, head of security. And we probably can't outrun them either, not through this space. Raj nodded. Then we don't run. We finish the job. Lyra looked around the table. We have one chance. The alien station's power core, it's still active. We don't know how or why, but the structure had the ability to amplify its own broadcasts. If we can link our systems to it, we might boost the signal strong enough to reach beyond the Concord's borders, beyond their control. Samira, the engineer, looked doubtful. It's risky. Their tech is delicate. One wrong connection could fry our systems or theirs. Lyra met her eyes. Do it. Samira nodded. We'll need to go back aboard. As the enemy ship crept closer, Lyra and a small team suited up and returned to the alien station. The air was colder now. The structure seemed more aware of them, as if it knew the time had come. They entered the central chamber, where the ancient holographic map still hovered, glowing softly. Samira and her crew got to work, pulling cables from portable fusion cores and linking them to the station's data port. Power holding steady, she said. Running uplink in 3, 2, now. A deep hum echoed through the floor. The map brightened. Lines of code streamed across the walls. The station's core had accepted the Horizon system. Back on the ship, the communications officer gave a thumbs up. We've got signal boost. 10 times stronger. Lyra touched her wrist. Calm, send everything. Now. From deep inside the Forbidden Zone, the Horizon began to transmit the truth. The data moved in bursts, fragments of star maps, ancient treaties, Xenar broadcasts, and visual logs spread across thousands of secure lines. The files would go to trusted contacts, unaligned research centers, independent colonies, even pirates. If even a handful of transmissions got through, the truth would survive. But the enemy had arrived. Alarms sounded across the ship. The black vessel was now in range. It made no contact. No threats. No warnings. It opened fire immediately. Twin beams of blue energy shot forward and struck the Horizon's shields. The ship shook violently. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Lights flickered. Shields at 60%, Mara shouted. Return fire. The Horizon's rail cannons activated, launching dense metal slugs at the attacker. A few hit, shaking the black ship slightly, but it didn't slow down. They're armored, Raj said. Looks like quantum plating. They came ready. More blasts hit the Horizon. A support beam snapped loose and crashed down near the rear corridor. Smoke poured from a damaged panel. Lyra gripped the railing. Keep sending the signal. Don't stop. This ship is just a shield now. We hold the line. On board the alien station, Samira stayed focused. The transmission rate was high, but the system was beginning to overload. Warning lights flashed red. Captain, she called through the comm, we've got 10 minutes left, maybe less. The station's core is burning out. Push it, Lyra replied. We don't need long. Just enough. Outside, the battle grew more intense. The enemy ship launched a series of pulse bombs. The Horizon dodged one, but the second struck the hull directly, sending shockwaves through the decks. Fire broke out near the engine room. Still, the crew kept fighting. Mara led her team with precision. Raj rerouted power from secondary systems to reinforce the shields. Niel continued uploading the last fragments of Xenar text. Felix called out, We've got confirmation. Some signals made it past the Concord blockade. They're spreading. Cheers broke out across the bridge, but they were short-lived. The black ship charged forward, ramming the Horizon's lower wing. Metal screeched. Hull breached. Lyra held the railing. Seal the lower deck. Redirect power to forward weapons. Back in the station, Samira watched the alien systems melt down. Blue sparks shot from the terminal. We've got seconds left, she said. Final file going out now. The station rumbled. A deep crack echoed through the chamber. The energy field around the map flickered and then went dark. The final packet had left. Transmission complete. Samira and her team scrambled back to the horizon as the station collapsed behind them. The entrance sealed, and lights across the structure blinked out for the last time. Lyra met them in the docking bay. Blood ran down her forehead from a cut, but she was steady. Did it go through? Samira gave a tired smile. All of it. Every last file. Raj appeared beside them. We've lost main power. Weapons offline. Enemy ship is still circling. Lyra nodded slowly. Then we've done what we came for. She turned to the crew as the emergency lights pulsed red. No matter what happens now, she said, we've changed the galaxy. The lie is broken, and the truth is out. Outside, the enemy ship prepared for another strike. Inside, the crew stood ready not for victory, but for something greater. The lights on the ESS horizon dimmed as emergency power cycled through the ship's failing systems. Smoke hung in the corridors. Fires were sealed behind pressure doors. The once silent halls now echoed with alarms, groaning metal, and the hurried steps of crew members trying to hold the ship together. The enemy vessel, a sleek, silent black predator, circled just beyond visual range. It hadn't attacked again yet. It didn't need to. It had done its damage. The horizon was bleeding, but the crew was still alive. And more importantly, the signal had been sent. Captain Lirachin stood on the bridge, gripping the edge of the command console. Blood ran from a gash near her temple, but she didn't notice. Her eyes were locked on the status screens, now flickering with static. How bad is it? She asked. Commander Raj Malik sat beside her, one hand clamped to his side, holding pressure on a burn. He didn't hesitate. Main weapons are gone. Navigation offline. Life support holding, but just barely. We have about 3 hours of air if nothing else fails. And the enemy? Still watching, Raj said. They haven't moved since the last hit. Lyra looked at the main view screen. The black ship hovered like a shadow, close enough to strike, but doing nothing. It wasn't trying to destroy them now. It was waiting. Why aren't they finishing it? She murmured. Raj gave a small, bitter smile. Because they're checking if the truth got out. And if it didn't, they'll finish the job. Below deck, in the engineering bay, Samira Holt crouched next to a cracked power conduit. Her gloved hands were black with soot and coolant. Sparks flew as she sealed the breach. Her voice came through the comms, strained but steady. Power grid is half fried, but I've stabilized the core. No explosions. Not yet. Anyway. Lyra responded, can we move? Not far. Maybe enough to pivot the ship. But we're a floating target. On the bridge, Lieutenant Mara Yates checked the tactical screen. Her arm was in a sling from falling debris, but she worked one-handed. Captain, I've been tracking the black ship. It's scanning us, probing for storage points. Trying to figure out if we kept the data on board. They don't know we sent it all, Lyra said. Not yet. In the quiet of the comms room, Dr. Niel sat alone, reviewing the final fragment of Xenar history. It was a visual log, low resolution, full of glitches, but powerful. It showed a gathering of Xenar leaders standing inside a great hall made of black crystal. They spoke in their ancient tongue, their faces solemn. A single sentence had been translated in the final frame. If knowledge is buried, then truth is war. Niel leaned back. His voice was soft, tired. They knew, he whispered. They knew they'd be erased. Hours passed. The black ship made no move. Lyra stood in her ready room, staring at the fractured star map projected before her. It showed the real shape of the galaxy before Concord redrew the lines. Whole systems now hidden. Species forced into silence. And in the center of it all, the forgotten zone, once home to the Xenar sovereignty. She tapped the panel and brought up a new report. Signal confirmation logs. A list of endpoints showed that at least 12 of the message fragments had been received. Some by independent research stations. Some by fringe colonies. One by an old Terran outpost no longer under Concord control. It had worked. They had done it. The truth was out. Back on the bridge, the tension was thick. Every crew member waited, breath held, for what came next. And then, without warning, the enemy ship powered up. Mara shouted, weapons charging. Brace for impact. Raj called out. Lyra rushed to her seat, gripping the sides as the ship shook violently. The blast tore into the horizon's outer wing. The hull groaned and split. Fire sprayed from a damaged coolant line. Shields gone. Mara yelled. Hull breach in sectors 3 and 6. Seal it. Lyra ordered. Redirect all power to emergency bulkheads. Another shot hit the port side, spinning the horizon slightly. The bridge lights flickered. Consoles shorted out. Raj leaned forward, coughing. They're going to disable us, then bored. They want to erase the evidence, Lyra said. Even if it means killing all of us. Mara looked up, defiant. Then we don't give them the chance. Samira's voice came over the intercom again. Captain, we can overload the remaining power cells. Set them to surge. If they board, we blow the ship. Lyra closed her eyes for a moment. The truth was already sent. They had done their part. But now, it was about survival. No, she said. We're not done yet. She opened a new channel. To the enemy ship. This is Captain Lyra of the SS Horizon. We know what you are. We know what you tried to hide. And the galaxy knows now, too. No reply came. Only silence. Then, unexpectedly, the black ship powered down its weapons. Raj blinked. What are they doing? Mara narrowed her eyes. They're retreating? On the screen, the enemy ship turned slowly and pulled away. No shots. No threats. It simply vanished into the darkness, back the way it had come. The crew was stunned. For a full minute, no one spoke. Then Lyra said, They know it's over. Raj looked at her. So that's it? They just leave? No, she said. They'll be back. But now they have to answer to everyone else. Later, in the infirmary, wounded crew members rested under soft lights. Niel sat beside one bed, quietly reading a translated Xenar poem. Mara sat at the foot of a stairwell, arms crossed, watching the stars from a small window. In engineering, Samira powered down the last emergency fuse, her hands shaking from exhaustion. And on the bridge, Lyra stood alone. The stars had returned. Beyond the haze of the Forbidden Zone, new systems waited. New questions. And likely, new dangers. But the lie had been broken. The horizon had paid the price. But the galaxy had the truth. 3 weeks later, the ESS Horizon drifted in a quiet orbit above a small, uninhabited moon on the edge of Concord space. Its hull was scarred. Sections of the ship were still dark, and much of the outer plating had been stripped off for emergency repairs. But it was alive. And so was the truth. Captain Lyra stood near a wide viewport on the bridge, hands behind her back, watching the stars. They looked the same as always, quiet, cold, distant. But the galaxy behind them had changed. She could feel it. Behind her, the bridge crew worked in near silence. No one spoke much these days. They didn't need to. Each of them carried the same weight, the same memory of the Forbidden Zone, of what they found and what it cost. But also what they achieved. A soft chime came from the communications panel. Commander Raj Malik, still limping from injuries he refused to treat properly, looked up. Incoming message. Civilian relay. Unsecured channel. Lyra turned. Play it. A voice came through the speakers. It was a woman, older, formal, the tone of someone used to being listened to. This is Professor Elena Mora, Free University of Tyrus 6. We've received the Xenar archives. Multiple copies. Full data chain confirmed. We've begun translation and cross-verification. The results are undeniable. This history is real. The Concord's silence will not hold. The message ended. Then came another. A transmission from a small research station in neutral space. We've mapped 15 of the Xenar systems. Some match restricted Concord regions. Others were wiped entirely. We've notified Allied archives. The records are spreading. And another. Colonies near the border have begun demanding full transparency. Protests on 4 planets. 1 Concord envoy has resigned. More will follow. Raj glanced at Lyra. It's happening. She gave a slow nod. The truth is no longer a secret. In the lower levels of the ship, Dr. Niel sat in his lab, finalizing the translated codex of Xenar philosophy. Their culture, he discovered, had been built on 3 core ideas: memory, honesty, and shared power. They had never wanted domination. They had wanted peace through open knowledge. Perhaps that was why they were erased. Niel uploaded the last entry to the open archive and leaned back. Eyes tired, but content. It's done, he whispered. The Horizon's repair crews were now working in coordination with an independent Terran freighter, the Kestrel, which had answered the Horizon's distress call days after the Black Concord ship retreated. The freighter brought supplies, medical aid, and most importantly, news. Lyra met with the freighter's captain, a grizzled woman named Tara Miles, in the Horizon's mess hall. You really kicked over a hornet's nest, Tara said with a smile. Did the hornets notice? Lyra asked. Oh, they noticed, Tara replied. The Concord Council is divided. Some deny everything. Others want a full investigation. There's talk of splitting the council seats, giving some to non-Concord systems. Power shifting, Lyra said. Tara leaned forward. More than that. You've redrawn the galaxy. Literally. That afternoon, Lyra walked slowly through the ship. Past injured crew resting in bunks. Past scorched panels and flickering lights. Past silence and memory. Every room she passed reminded her of someone lost. 2 crew members had died in the fight. Others would carry wounds for the rest of their lives. But not one of them had left their post. On the bridge once more, Lyra stood in front of the main screen. Raj joined her, holding a data pad. He tapped it. The star map appeared. But it wasn't the Concord version. It was the Xenar map, restored and updated. Systems once hidden now glowed bright. Paths once erased now reconnected. The center of the galaxy, once called the Forbidden Zone, now held its name once again. Xenar sovereignty, memory preserved. Raj looked at her. We have a new map now. Lyra studied it in silence. The galaxy was no longer under a single narrative. Power was shifting. People were questioning what else had been hidden, who else had been silenced. Independent systems were banding together. Some Concord allies were withdrawing. Others demanded reform. But none of it would have happened without the Horizon and its crew. Without a choice made in the dark, in defiance of an order, in pursuit of a signal thought forgotten. Raj spoke again. What happens next? Lyra turned to him, calm and clear. We find the rest of the story. He smiled. Back into the dark? Back into the truth, she said. She tapped the console. The Horizon's thrusters hummed gently to life. Lights across the ship slowly blinked back to green. The wounded vessel turned in silence, its nose pointing away from known space, toward another unmarked sector. Ahead of them, the stars waited, silent, endless, and full of answers. As the ship moved forward, the Xenar symbol reappeared on the screen. Not as a warning, but as a guide. And Captain Lyra Chin spoke 3 final words. This is only beginning.